Good day, everyone. We are Group 2 from Section IDS 11. I am Jedrick Scarfin, joined by Belinda Heron, Christian Friedrich, and Eleanor Fidelis. And our presentation today is titled Rising Waters Combating the Philippine Flooding Crisis. The key problems we identified during our group discussion is number one, the deforestation of natural watersheds. Two, the poor urban planning and clogged municipal drainage. And three, the flooding happening in both rural and urban communities. So, the third major problem we identified is the severe deforestation of natural watersheds. So, to understand why this is a problem, we have to look at our mountains and rural areas. Because of rapid and unregulated deforestation, we are losing critical tree coverage. Trees are supposed to act like a giant natural sponge. Their roots soak up heavy typhoon rainfall. But without them, the land completely loses its natural absorption capacity. So, because there are no roots to hold the ground together, all that heavy rain causes massive soil erosion and landslides. So, mud, rocks, and debris get washed down the mountains and end up what? End up severely clogging our natural rivers and waterways. So, what is the final result? You have a massive volume of excess floodwater mixed with debris with nowhere to go. It just rushes straight down into our vulnerable, lower elevation cities and communities at highly dangerous speeds. It essentially turns a mountain problem into a devastating city problem.
Moving on to our second major issue, poor urban planning and clogged municipal drainage. In many urban areas across the Philippines, the core problem begins at the infrastructural level. Due to weak construction oversight and issue of corruption, many critical drainage projects are either left unfinished or built poorly, leaving us with drainage systems that simply cannot cope with heavy rainfall. On top of that, poor solid waste management causes garbage to choke the canals and drains we do have. Even when local governments try to clean them, they face massive maintenance hurdles, mainly a severe shortage of funding, proper heavy equipment, and sustained upkeep. Finally, uncontrolled and heavy construction is causing major areas, such as Metro Manila, to experience land subsidence, which means the ground is literally sinking. When you combine sinking land with blocked, failing drainage system, the risk and severity of flooding skyrockets. To the problem one, the flooding happening in both rural and urban communities. This brings us to our primary concern, the widespread flooding across both rural and urban communities. Flooding is no longer an isolated event. It is a full-blown nationwide crisis. Every monsoon season, severe rainfall, further intensified by global climate patterns like El Niño, overwhelms our communities. As mentioned, key urban centers like Manila are sinking from rapid, unregulated urbanized, making them extremely fragile during downpours. Meanwhile, our unique geography leaves coastal cities vulnerable to storm surges and exposed rural lowlands to massive agricultural runoff and river overflows. While marginalized families in low-lying areas inevitably bear the brunt of every storm fist, the resulting economic disruption, supply chain halts, and ruined infrastructure affects everyone across society regardless of socioeconomic status.
For this slide, our focus is on the flooding happening in both rural and urban communities. Since flooding is a complex problem, we came up with a multi-level approach to help address it. First is the macro or government level. This focuses on modernizing and properly maintaining flood control infrastructure such as drainage systems and other flood control projects. Second is the policy level. We need stricter urban zoning laws and better solid waste management because poor planning and clogged drainage can make flooding worse. And lastly, the micro or grassroots level. This focuses on the community, especially students. We can have student led activities like disaster preparedness programs and community cleanups. So basically, solving flooding requires action from the government through policies and from the community itself.
Hello, I am Belinda Leem Heron, and I will be the ones presenting our first two solutions as how to tackle the issue that is flooding. So, our first solution is to modernize and strengthen flood control infrastructure. As we know, flood control infrastructure can very much help us in preventing floods as well as reducing it. So, how can we manage this? How can we work on this? Well, our first idea as to how to make this solution work is to one, upgrade and maintain pumping stations, drainage systems, floodways, and other flood control facilities in areas that are heavily affected. Secondly, we can also expand and improve drainage networks in flood prone cities and municipalities. Thirdly, conduct regular clearing and maintenance of canals, esteros, and drainage systems. And lastly, prioritize government infrastructure projects in communities that experience recurring and severe flooding. We believe that all of these can help can at the very least help reduce floods and as well as hopefully prevent any more severe flooding that will happen in our country. As for our second solution, our second solution is to strengthen urban planning and environmental policies. As we know, one of the main reasons as to why flooding is such a big problem is mainly because there is construction being held in places that naturally protect us from flooding, or because people are throwing their trash and not disposing of their waste properly, thus clogging drainage systems or clogging the sewers. So, what can we do to try and solve this? Well, firstly, one of the things we can do is to strictly enforce zoning and land use regulations to prevent construction along waterways, riverbanks, and other areas that naturally accommodate excess water. If these places are already there to naturally help us, then we should also be protecting them in order for it's like a give and take. We don't disturb them, and in turn they will protect us in a sense. Secondly, we should also require proposed buildings and developments to undergo proper flood risk and drainage assessments before construction is approved. We should check if the buildings or if the projects can withstand flooding, or if they can help prevent flooding. Yes. And thirdly, we should also strengthen the implementation of solid waste management policies to reduce garbage that clog drainage systems and waterways. And of course, lastly, we should hold individuals, businesses, and developers accountable for illegal construction, improper waste disposal, and other activities that contribute to flooding and environmental degradation. Thank you.
And for this solution, which is protecting natural ecosystems and strengthening communities, for the solution, I think we shouldn't only focus on building more flood control structures. The government should improve and regularly maintain drainage systems and pumping stations, while also enforcing proper zoning so people don't build in waterways or other high risk areas. At the same time, we should protect forests, rivers, and wetlands because they can naturally help manage excess water. Lastly, communities and students can also contribute through cleanup drives and disaster preparedness campaigns. So basically, we need both infrastructure and environmental solutions to make our communities more resilient to flooding.
And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.